Sports, the only show with a home field advantage for UT Athletics. Here's tonight's host.
Welcome in, everyone, to Rock Solid Sports. I'm your host, Joseph Bonanno. Next to me, I got Jack Foster. And behind me, because our fishbowl is broken, we got Jackson Williams. I don't know if you guys see him on the stream. On StreamYard, we got Tucker Harlan. And over at our gracious sponsor, the Hill Bar and Grill, we got our man, Connor Smith. Connor, how is the atmosphere tonight at the Hill? Connor, can you hear me? All right, we are going to work out some technical difficulties with Connor, and we will check with him here in a moment. But for now, I'm going to kick it to the guys that are here with us. How are you guys doing tonight?
It's well, Joseph. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. We got Vandy, Tennessee Vandy, number one Tennessee Vandy, about to come on here behind us. Getting ready to see the best team in the country play. Not the best team in the country.
Top 10 tilt. Big old matchup.
Top five.
Big old series.
Top five.
Well, what's Vandy top five in? What poll?
They're number 3, right?
They're number
they're
9
number 3 in the SEC.
D1.
They're number 3 in the SEC. They're not.
They're 9 in D1. Yeah.
There are several spots in the top 10 in all the different polls, but they're not the consensus number 1 because that is the Tennessee Volunteers, and that is where they are. But looks like that game is getting started. The lineup is Christian Moore, Seth Stevenson, Jordan Beck, Drew Gilbert, Trey Lipscomb, Evan Russell, Luke Lipsius, Jarrell Ortega, and Cortland Lawson, with Seth Stevenson in left and Christian Moore DHing. So that game is now underway. We will continue to provide updates for there. But let's talk about these Tennessee Vols because they are going into this matchup, and I think this is one of the most highlighted matchups in college baseball, going to be all year.
Yeah, I mean, the Tennessee-Vanderbilt rivalry, as we all know, is a big one, and especially in baseball since Vandy is such a killer baseball program. And now that the Vols, unanimously ranked number 1 entering this weekend, it's definitely a big one. The Vols haven't knocked off the Commodores in a series since 2009. And if there's a year to do it, it's this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Friday night tonight, our matchup between pitching wise is Chase Burns, who's 5-0 with the 0.8 ERA versus Chris McElvain. Yeah. Thank you, Tucker. He's 4-0 with a 1.95 ERA as Christian Moore goes down swinging to start the top of the first there in Nashville. And what are we expecting from this series? Because Tennessee obviously leads the nation in several offensive categories: home runs, runs scored, I believe, doubles, batting average, on base percentage, all of that. Plus, they lead some pitching categories too. I'm pretty sure ERA, WHIP, walks per 9 innings.
Yeah.
So, they're a really complete team. And Vanderbilt, as we know, under Tim Corbin, has always kind of been really dominant, at least since Tim Corbin's gotten there.
Yeah, what I'm looking for, Joseph, is just consistency. I feel like I'm going to kind of say the similar things I was looking for in the Ole Miss series last week that, they just blew out of the water, quite frankly. The composure Drew Beam has on the mound on Sundays is just spectacular, and we know how good Chase Burns is. Chase Dollander, I think, had the best performance of his career last Saturday. So I'm going to see if those guys can continue that. It's kind of a thing to where as you go along in the season, these pitchers are going to kind of wear down, you think, at least. Does it happen this weekend? Does it happen multiple weekends? Does it happen at all? I don't know. It could happen this weekend, but with these Tennessee bats, I don't think they're going to slow down.
Yeah, and you mentioned the starters. Chase Burns, Chase Dollander will pitch tomorrow. He's 4-0 with a 2.67 ERA. He'll face Carter Holton, who's 4-1 with a 4.02 ERA. And then Sunday it'll be Drew Beam, who's 5-0 with a 1.12. And we don't know Vanderbilt's Sunday pitcher as of now. Those starters are combined 14-0, and they have a combined 1.5 ERA as a weekend rotation, which is really impressive. Especially now that you've gone through 2 SEC series and you faced the number 1 team in the country at the time.
Right.
I'm looking to see how they kind of manage without Jared Dickey. Jared Dickey's been one of the hottest bats in this lineup, and obviously Tennessee's very deep, but replacing him is going to be tough because, I mean, he's been one of their top home run hitters, really been able to, and just as I said this,
Jordan Beck
just went over the right field wall.
See you, bye.
Ball's take a 1-0 lead early on Vandy.
So I just rescind everything I just said. But yeah, I think throughout the weekend you will see some less long balls because Jared Dickey going down is huge for this lineup. Obviously, I was just pretty much proven wrong with Jordan Beck literally leaving the yard as I was saying.
And it's funny that Jordan Beck, because he hasn't been one of the sluggers of this team. He hasn't hit multiple home runs this season, as much as the other guys. So to see him get started off on such a hot note on the weekend like this, it's really encouraging.
Yeah, and you were talking about Jared Dickey and how that role is going to be filled, and the one person I think that's going to really fill the role is Christian Moore, who's leading off. Obviously, he struck out, but we've seen the freshman, him and Blake Burke, both freshmen, really come alive. Right now, they're currently checking Jordan Beck's bat. There have been some complaints around college baseball with the fans about Tennessee cheating. So of course you would see that happen against Vandy. I'm really kind of confused what they're. It looks like they're. Wow, they called Jordan Beck out. Oh wow, they called Jordan Beck out for cheating. I'm pretty sure
something wrong with his bat.
Something, and Tony Vitello is furious. Oh my gosh, guys. I don't even know what to do right now. This is wild.
Okay.
About the series because I do believe that this is the end of the first inning.
Yes. They were calling Jordan Beck out because of something on his bat. I think.
Yeah, I want to know what it is.
We can't turn the volume up because it's not our broadcast, but we will bring that news to you. This is wild on-air development right now.
Getting things started off hot in Nashville.
Vitello is furious. Wow.
Oh, he's going. Oh, they cut the commercial as he was going back onto the field.
We will bring updates on that because that is insane. But going with this weekend, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see chippiness. I mean, last year when these two teams played in Knoxville, it was chippy all weekend. And that's one thing that Drew Gilbert, I know, talked about before heading into this series is that there's a history between these teams. There's a very common dislike between these teams. They don't like each other at all. And it's pretty clear. So, and obviously we're seeing that right now early in the first inning. But yeah, that kind of threw me off my whole train. I don't know, Tucker, you got anything with that?
Yeah, I'm a little shocked by the start of that, to say the least. I think a realistic expectation for this weekend is maybe going to 2 out of 3 in the series for us. I think the pitching depth for us compared to years past is great, and I think it's the opposite for Vanderbilt. They don't have that rocker-lighter combo like they did last year. So, McIlvain's great. He actually grew up about 20 minutes south of me. He was great back in high school. He's just as good, if not better now, of course. So I think he's probably going to be one of the best pitchers we'll have to face in the SEC.
And it's funny you say that, Tucker, about, rocker and lighter from last year, because I feel like that's like the script has been flipped for this year as Tennessee is coming in with Dolander, Beam, and Burns, this three-headed monster they got on the mound and weekend starters. So I feel like Tennessee has that advantage in pitching, and they're the ones that should be that are the imposing force in the series for this year anyway.
Absolutely.
All right. I did get word from our man Ryan Shumpert. Jordan Beck was called out for an illegal bat or something wrong with the bat. They didn't really give an explanation. I think you could just see, if you're watching the broadcast right now, him and Tony, or the Tonys and the umpires were getting into it. So that's
and the bat apparently had an inspection sticker on it,
which is weird because NCAA requires them to look at the bats before every series and every single game, which is really weird. So
yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah, Chase Burns is about to take the mound, and we will see. We will again give updates. But yeah, with the series, I don't think it's realistic to say Tennessee's going to sweep. Because eventually Tennessee's going to cool off, and they're not going to sweep every opponent. I mean, that's just how it is. It's baseball. You're not expected to win every game. You're not even expected to win every series. But I think Tennessee has a really good chance of taking this series at Vanderbilt. Just like Tucker mentioned, I think that the pitching depth is their biggest strength. I think that if you compare Tennessee's not only their starters but their bullpen as well, if you compare that, that is where their strength lies because Vanderbilt is really good at the plate. I mean, they're top 10 in the they're top 5 in the SEC in just about every category. They're top 20 in just about every category in the country. So, in speaking of Enrique Bradfield Jr., who leads the SEC in stolen bases right now, practically is the stolen base king in the SEC, is up to bat. But yeah, so this series should be fun. With it being in Nashville, I think it does give Vandy a little bit of an edge. But Tennessee, I feel like now that they're the number 1 team in the country, they kind of got a lot more fan support. It's really going to help them out. I'm feeling confident they're going to be able to take the series. Even if they lose tonight, I feel like their Saturday and Sunday guys are strong enough to be able to finish it out.
It'll be interesting, Joseph, is if they either lose tonight or tomorrow and it's 1-1 going into Sunday, we get to see Drew Beam on a big stage.
Yeah, because really it's been 2-0 every time he's gone in. So we really haven't seen the pressure put on him. So honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think it'd be pretty cool to see, and I think it'd be a good test for this team. But
so, a little interesting nugget. This happened at an Auburn game last week where a bat was inspected and the home run was taken away for too much pine tar on a bat.
That is interesting. So, I don't think I've ever seen that in baseball.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never seen that in baseball, but we're going to transition over here because obviously this game's going to go on as Chase Burns gets his first strikeout on the first batter he faces. So we're going to transition into some other Tennessee sports real quick because the softball team, the number 11 ranked softball team, is facing Mississippi State this weekend tonight. I'm not sure what the score is, but for some insight on softball, I'm going to kick it over to Tucker real quick. Because Tucker, you've covered a couple of their games. So, what have you seen from the softball team so far?
Well, I haven't really covered any big time games. I've mainly gotten midweekers because Devin is going to take the majority of those. But I did get to cover the game this past week, and they beat Lipscomb. I think it was 9-2, and it was one of those wins that the score looks really really good, but at the same time, I think they saw some things in that game in which Weekly was not happy about the situation. So they've definitely got some things to work on, according to her.
Yeah, Tucker. And, what do you think is out of the softball team, what do you think has impressed you the most, of their performances thus far?
I think that they're a team that can steal a lot of bases on you. That's something pretty interesting to watch. And then, I think the bats can get hot. So yeah, they definitely have people that can do that. It's just the fact that, I haven't really gotten a great assessment of them because I've only seen them beat up on teams that they should be destroying. So,
I'm curious about Kiki Malloy. Obviously this Urosh's girl there, how has she performed this season? Have you ever seen Urosh at a game?
Yeah, I have actually. I think what was that? The Tennessee Invitational where they had that weekend series or tournament. But yeah, he was there with, I think, maybe Kent Gilbert, and he actually hit a homer in that game, and he went crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely very supportive of his girlfriend. We've seen it at basketball availabilities quite a bit. And Tucker, just how would you assess the environment at Shirley Parker Stadium? You know how environments can get at TBA, at Lindsey Nelson. How is it over there in the softball stadium?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, there's definitely some regulars in there. You got the locos who are always keeping the crowd into it. So I would definitely say that they've got a little bit of an environment going for them.
Absolutely. And any upcoming big softball matchups you're looking forward to covering?
Well, I'm actually not going to be covering one for about another month. I think it's the Lady Vol Challenge that's here at the end of April. So I guess I'm looking forward to that.
Right on.
Yeah. So softball team doing pretty good after kind of a rocky start to their season. So we'll continue to provide updates on them throughout this 2022 season. But right now, one more thing in the kind of the Tennessee atmosphere kind of before we branch out is Kelly Harper for the Lady Vols extended just like Rick Barnes to the 2026-2027 season, I believe, which after her run in the tournament and her season, I think she full-heartedly deserves.
No, yeah, they had this best start of any Lady Vols team since their championship run in 2008. They killed it in non-conference play, of course, only losing to Stanford. And I thought Kelly Harper did a great job keeping her team together, going through all those injuries, of course, with Keegan Green and Jordan Horston, ultimately making the Sweet 16 for the first time in 60 years. I think it was a successful season, not the result you wanted in Wichita, but they fought Louisville hard. It was a game all the way to the end.
Yeah, it was. And, if they were healthier, they probably win that game. Or at least have a better chance. Yeah. I mean, if they had Keegan Green and Jordan Horston fully healthy for that game, I just don't see any way that they don't go deeper in the tournament.
Yeah.
But Kelly Harper's done a phenomenal job with them over in Thompson Bowling. But now we're going to kind of transition from Lady Vol hoops to the men's hoops, but not Tennessee men's hoops because they're no longer playing. The NCAA tournament Final Four is this weekend. We got some pivotal matchups between Duke and UNC and Villanova versus Kansas. And I know the story here. Basically, I know me and Jack had talked about it earlier. This Duke UNC game is basically the national championship.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at these two teams, it's in my opinion, I don't think Kansas or Villanova is good enough to beat Duke or UNC, whoever comes out of this game on Monday. It's just, I think, I genuinely think that this is for the national championship on Saturday.
So did this UNC team just get hot, like at the right time?
Well, I think when they beat Duke in the last game of the regular season, I mean, it sparked something inside of them, and they just carried it through the tournament. So it's kind of that situation where you get hot at the right time, and you just carry the momentum. That's exactly what UNC did. I mean, they upset Baylor.
Right.
Then after that, they
UCLA.
Yeah, they beat UCLA first. Then they upset
Baylor was first.
Was it Baylor first?
Baylor was
then,
round of 32.
Okay, so it was Baylor first, then UCLA. Well, no, because did UNC didn't come from first four, did they?
No, they were 8 seed.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so they beat Baylor, UCLA, and then they beat the Cinderella team in St. Peter's. They crushed St. Peter's, which we all knew was eventually going to happen, but
it was sad.
It was sad. But now they're facing Duke. Coach K, his last game, possibly his last game ever, is against UNC. Might not be his last game ever. We'll see.
You can't write a story better than this.
We'll see how the whistle goes in that game, but I have a feeling it's going to favor some dark blue.
I hope it goes into overtime. I hope it's the game of the year.
You already know those producers are out there. Be like, all right, listen, we're going to need someone to make a clutch shot to tie it, send it to overtime because we need ratings. That's exactly what it's going to be. But you also have.
But y'all, wait, hold on. Y'all are counting out Kansas and Villanova?
I just feel like both Duke and UNC, they have too much story writing behind them. I mean, Villanova, okay. Villanova and Kansas, great basketball teams, but they don't have that personal touch following them. Because if Duke gets in, everyone's gonna be like, okay, give Coach K one last ride, right? And if UNC gets in, be like, all right, UNC's the Cinderella team right now. Let them win it all, right? I feel like either it's a lose-lose situation for Kansas or Villanova because you get there and you're probably going to be a lot of people are probably going to be rooting against you from the start. I mean, I don't know how if Duke gets in, I could say that flips because there's a lot of Duke haters out there. Not a lot of people like Duke, but especially if UNC advances to the Natty, I feel like the personal support it's going to be lacking. It's going to be just from their own fan base.
And Joseph, I just want to get your thoughts on the tournament as a whole. I mean, have you enjoyed this tournament? It's been a wacky one for sure, but
yeah, it's always fun when some things happen that you're not really expecting. And I think that's exactly what March Madness means and what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to give the little guy a chance. I mean, it's something you don't see in college football. It's something you see in college basketball and college baseball only. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. And when you give the little guy a chance and they end up doing something, it just feels way more special, which is why I personally love March Madness and I love the College World Series because it gives that kind of that underdog a chance. And it's one, it's good TV, and two, it's fun to watch. It's fun to read about kind of these smaller teams. I mean, when St. Peter's made it all the way to the Sweet 16, and you're talking to them like they're the first team ever. First 15 seed ever to go to the Elite Eight. You heard about what happened with their coaches and their offices getting flooded. They couldn't use music in the weight room. A lot of their assistants are unpaid. They're volunteers. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, I feel like their run created one of the best sports stories we've heard in quite some time. And probably going to end up being the best sports story of this calendar year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when those ESPYs come around, sports story of the year, put the Peacocks.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys' who do you think is going to win the Natty? What's everybody's predictions?
What's it going to be, Jackson?
UNC. Give me the Tar Heels. I just feel like they're the hot team at the right time. I feel like they're going to beat Duke for the second time in 2 months, and they're gonna win the whole thing.
I'm gonna go Duke. Just feel like the cards are gonna fall. You know, it almost feels rigged a little bit, but I think Coach K gets it on his final year.
Tucker?
I'm also on Duke, although I think Kansas has a better shot than UNC. Realistically, I think UNC is gonna fade out eventually. I think their run has been great, but I think it's going to come to an end soon. And Villanova, of course, they're on 5-man starting lineup. Essentially, is it? They don't have any substitutes, so they're kind of screwed at this point. So I would say Duke, and then probably Kansas has the second best chance.
Yeah, I'm going to go Duke because I think Duke beats UNC just based on Coach K. We saw how the whistle fell to him when they faced Arkansas in the Elite Eight. And I think it's just going to continue to happen because it's Coach K and it's his last ride. I mean,
it's that Blue Devil magic.
Yeah, the whistle falls how the whistle falls. So we're going to head to break. Coming up, we're going to talk about MLB opening day, some NFL stuff, off-season wise, maybe some Titan stuff as well. So stay tuned. You're listening to Rock Solid Sports on WUTK 90.3 The Rock.
The Rock thanks the Hill Bar and Grill for their support. The Hill on Forest Avenue is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill has a variety of appetizers and a full menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. The Hill is our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor and home of Friday's Rock Solid Sports. On Instagram at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2022 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports will cover Smokies Baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com, and a link is at WUTKRadio.com.
Volunteer Radio stays on air thanks to Cool Beans, the 21-up college sports bar next to campus on Lake Avenue, a block off the strip. Cool Beans has 25 rotating beer taps and bottles. HGTVs everywhere, along with darts, pool, and arcade games. Open every day at 11 a.m. to late night. Burgers, wings, and sandwiches, Vol card accepted. Cool Beans hosts Rock Solid Sports every Monday night at 7. Trivia Tuesdays, Bingo Thursdays. More on Instagram at Knox Cool Beans or CoolBeansBar.com.
Support to keep WUTK on air comes from listeners and from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Texas A&M, Auburn, and others. AllVols.com for Lady Vols softball tickets and more. UT students need a valid UT ID for admission to all home games. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports provides UT softball coverage. Volunteer Radio wishes the 2022 Lady Vols softball team good luck as they compete to return to the College Softball World Series. Volunteer Radio remains on air thanks to support from Fieldhouse Social, a modern sports bar and restaurant next to the UT campus at University Commons. Open every day at 11 a.m., serving American craft fare, beer, and cocktails inside or on the covered patio. With over 25 HD TVs at every angle and all UT games shown on the 20-foot LED TV wall. At FH Social Knox on Instagram, fieldhousesocial.com.
This is Jim Gaffigan. You're listening to 90.3 UT's College of Rock.
Hey, this is Rob.
This is Derek.
From the Funhouse. For over a decade, we've been getting your weekend started right.
So grab a beverage or whatever it is you need to grab and tune in every Friday night at 8 o'clock.
On 90.3 The Rock, Volunteer Radio.
It's the best show in the universe.
The Funhouse, brought to you by Raven Records and Rarities at 1200 North Central Street in Happy Hollow, Knoxville. Source for new and pre-loved vinyl and more for nearly 40 years.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from listeners and from the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team, whose 2021-2022 home ice season includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, and others at the Civic Coliseum in downtown Knoxville. The Ice Bears regular season runs through April 9th, and season and single game tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Tune in to WUTK Rock Solid Sports for the Wednesday Ice Bears news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to listener donations and support from the UT Athletic Department. After making it to Omaha last season, the 2022 baseball fall season begins in February and runs into May, featuring games with SEC rivals South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Season group and individual game ticket info is at allvols.com. Students need to show their valid UT ID at the gate for entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
Welcome in, everybody, to Rock Solid Sports here on WTK 90.3 The Rock. I'm your host, Joseph Bonanno. I got Jackson Williams behind me, Jack Foster next to me. I got Tucker Harlan over StreamYard, and we are about to have our man Connor call in. So I'm going to kick to Jack real quick to take it away and give you some updates on baseball.
Yeah, so the bottom of the first after that, chaotic top of the first inning there with Jordan Beck's bat being inspected and ultimately calling out on that homer. Vandy was retired in order around a 2-out double, so Chase Burns escapes there and doesn't give up a run.
All right, guys, we have our man Connor Smith. We have our man Connor Smith on the line. Connor, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. So how's the Hill Bar and Grill? I know there's some technical difficulties over there, but I know you've been there for a minute. How's it going?
It's going good. People are pretty upset about the whole sticker thing, though. I got to be honest. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but Tennessee had a home run called back because, I kid you not, there was a sticker on the bat that was not on the bat before the game.
So they said that the bat didn't have the sticker before the game, and it had it.
Yes, and therefore that made it illegal. Yes.
That is interesting because NCAA has a rule where they require all equipment to be checked before all series and all single games.
See, that's the problem. The sticker was not. That's the problem. See, the sticker was not there before the game, and apparently it was. It is a sticker. So that's so tit for tat for me. But
yeah, that is definitely a wild. I don't even know how to describe that. That is interesting.
Most odd thing I've seen in a baseball game, and I think the most angry I've ever seen Tony Vitello.
Oh yeah,
he
for sure.
Take the bat away from the umpire.
Give me that bat, dude. And of course, it has to happen on the Tennessee Vandy too.
Oh yeah, the first run of the Tennessee. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Regardless of the outcome of this game, this post-game press conference is going to be one for the ages. Both sides, Tennessee and Vandy.
Yeah,
that can only happen with Tennessee.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's wild, but we're gonna talk. We're gonna transition from college baseball to a little bit of Major League Baseball, considering that this next week on Thursday, April 7th, Major League Baseball is going to finally come back for opening day after a lockout. After it was uncertain if the season was even gonna happen. We're going to get to see some Major League Baseball, and I don't know about you guys, but I am extremely excited for this.
Pumped to see Freddie Freeman in a Dodgers uniform for the first time.
Okay, calm down, Jackson. We don't need to get into that, even though we will get into that, because I want to ask, I don't know if you guys, how close you guys have been. Whoa, Luke Lipsius.
Bingo, 2-run shot.
I wonder if they'll check his bat.
Yeah, let's see.
You think they'll check his bat? Hold up. I want to wait for wait for them to check his bat real quick.
But let's get back in MLB while they're.
He just checked his bat. Luke checked his own bat. That was hilarious. Oh, I love this baseball team.
So let's get into MLB. What was the question you were asking right before we get
the question I was gonna get at is so I don't know how closely you guys have been following it, but this has been almost as wild as an MLB offseason as the NFL has been wild. And the NFL season has been extremely wild. I just want to ask, what are your guys' winners, losers, most interesting moves that you've noticed from the MLB? And I'll throw it out to anybody open in the air. All MLB is open. So go ahead. Anyone.
Okay. So are you saying the move that is going to help a team the most, or is it a move that is the most interesting to me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going Albert Pujols back to the Cardinals, because I remember those Cardinals World Series runs when I was a kid. and it was, they were crazy good. You had Adam Wainwright, who's still with the Cardinals, Yadier Molina, still with the Cardinals. You had guys like David Freese. You had really good pieces on this Cardinals team. Albert Pujols goes to the Angels, but now he's back for his final season in the majors. It's also going to be Yadier Molina as well as Adam Wainwright. That trio getting to go out together, no matter how good the Cardinals are going to be. I think they're a playoff team. I think they won't make like a deep run in the postseason. They could, obviously, but because it's so early, but it's going to be a solid team. It's going to be a fun team to watch just because three like legends of baseball of the early 2000s are all going out on the same team in the same year. It's going to be cool to watch.
Yeah, I think Albert Pujols, I mean, he made his name as a Cardinal. He's going to end his career as a Cardinal. I think it's fitting, because Cardinals fans they were distraught when he left for the Angels way back when. And so to have him finally back to end his career, I know that's kind of a happy ending for them. So good for the Cardinals. In my opinion, my most interesting thing that's happened this offseason are the Reds, because the Reds have essentially just traded everyone. They were a playoff team 2 years ago. Wait, I think they were in the playoffs last year.
Is Joey Votto still on the Reds?
2020 year they were.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, it was the COVID year that they made, and I get it was a shortened season, whatever. That was the year with Trevor Bauer, but they had a phenomenal roster. I mean, Joey Votto, yes, is their first baseman. They had Nick Castellanos. Honestly, Jesse Winkler out there in right field. They have Nick Senzel. He's a former Vol. They had a stacked outfield. Plus, they got the Jonathan India over in the middle infield, who was a rookie last year. Who was pretty good. I mean, he was pretty sure he was top 5 Rookie of the Year voting. And they've just proceeded to trade every single person away. They no longer have Nick Castellanos. He is now a Philly.
The Phillies have the best outfield in baseball. In the NL.
I wouldn't disagree with that because they added Castellanos. They have Bryce Harper. They also added, I have it right here. They added Kyle Schwarber. It's hard to disagree that that's not the best
hitting outfield. I mean, defensively, you probably find a better outfielder than Schwarber. He's not great.
And Castellanos isn't known for his defense, but
in terms of just batting, that's no question. I mean, those are three guys who can put together some crazy home run stats. Right? I mean, I want to say, I know Schwarber competed in the home run derby.
I don't think Castellanos did. But the Phillies have added. I think if you go Braves Phillies, since that's kind of the team right here, Braves Phillies, they're the kind of the two competing for that division, the National League East. Because honestly, the Mets, Jacob deGrom, it was announced today, Jacob deGrom is going to be out for a month to start the season, and that's just preliminary stuff.
But they've bolstered that rotation to take that blow.
They got
obviously.
They weren't expecting Jacob deGrom to be out.
Yes, but with the additions to their bullpen, you'll be able to shoulder that load better than last year's Mets were when he went out last year.
Well, the thing with the Mets though is they've always had decent pitching. The problem with the Mets is they never get run support.
Hey, they got Pete Alonso.
Jacob deGrom had like a sub-2 ERA and had more losses than he did wins. You know why? Because he never got run support. Dude was the best pitcher in baseball, and had more losses than he did wins. Dude was Cy Young good, and because his team, the Mets, have sucked at hitting for so long.
The Mets are a poverty franchise. They have been since they won the World Series back in '86.
That's just facts. And coming from a Braves fan, facts. I know, Connor. You're a Braves fan, right?
Yes, and here's what I'll say. I've learned one thing about the Mets. They're what I call a paper team. So every year they get better on paper, but somehow never manage to put anything together. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Because every offseason I'm like, the Mets are making moves. And somehow it never fails to fail. The Mets are going to Met no matter what.
I 100% agree with that. They are a paper team. They stack their lineup on paper, and then every time the season starts, the guys that they go to add either get injured, they don't produce. I mean, look at oh my God, Francisco Lindor that they got. He came in and was the worst hitter in baseball as soon as he got with the Mets. I mean, they got Javi Baez. They got Javi Baez, and Javi Baez came in, and Javi Baez was not good before he got to the Mets. Wasn't even good when he was at the Mets. It makes
no sense to me.
It's astonishing how bad they are. with how much they spend and how many high-profile players that they put on that team.
Didn't the Mets draft Kumar Rocker?
Yeah, and then Kumar Rocker said, "I don't want to pitch for you," and now he's pitching.
The Mets didn't. The Mets just didn't sign him because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he refused. Why would they draft him fifth overall? Or
Well,
first.
They're gonna get more picks out of it.
Yeah, so
They're gonna get that back and another pick.
He could be of help currently. I know he's a young pitcher, but I mean,
he probably would be in the minors for 3 years before he came
you saw
in.
With Garrett Crochet, he was a very quick.
That was that was also during the COVID year, and he came in for the bullpen. Much different than a starter. But
yeah,
I honestly don't know what I think. I think Kumar Rocker currently is like pitching in some like independent leagues right now.
Yeah, because he's going to get back into the draft and go to a team that's better than Mets.
Yeah, so it's weird. I don't know what that.
He sees Jacob deGrom wasting his career in the blue and orange, and he's getting out of there.
I think the big thing was he had a bit of an injury, and he didn't want to take the MRIs from other teams that would show his injury, the extent of it. So I think his idea was he's gonna just not sign, sit out another year, and be drafted highly again, and still sign for a $5 million signing bonus or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, but it's just I think it's funny that they wasted a pick on him, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go play in the independents." Sorry. So the Mets are always gonna Mets.
That might work for them. It might work for them because they get that pick back, and they get his pick and another pick because of that this year. So I think they end up getting 2 picks out of it. There.
You also got to remember that you gotta actually trust the Mets to draft good. And they obviously can't do it in free agency, so I don't know how they're gonna do to the draft. But Tucker, I'm gonna kick it over you. You got any MLB teams that just you think have made some interesting moves, some good moves, have really boosted their chances of winning a World Series?
Well, I hate saying it, but the Dodgers, I feel like are a team that they've made some good additions. So I think that's definitely helped them out. One move, though, that I think is interesting, not with the Dodgers, is Trevor Story going to the Red Sox because, the Red Sox were really a team last year that, nobody really expected them to do as well as they did. And then they end up playing in the ALCS and just kind of built up with a pretty scrappy team. And now they got a legitimate guy coming in from Colorado. So I think that's going to be a pretty big addition for them.
Yeah, and Trevor Story was kind of wasted on the Rockies. It was like a shortstop. I'm pretty sure he's going to play second base for the Red Sox because they got Xander Bogaerts over there at short. So you're kind of really taking a guy who's pretty good defensively. You're putting him in a position that's a lot easier to play defensively. And then you're also getting his bat, which might have been boosted a little bit because of playing in Colorado. Because the guys who play, now you got Chris Bryant, former Cub, former Giant. He's going there. I guarantee you he hits almost 40 home runs this season just playing in Colorado itself. Freddie Freeman's probably going to hit 40 because he's no, not Freddie Freeman. If Freddie Freeman had gone to the Yankees, he probably would have hit 40 because that right field. But he chose the Dodgers, and I really don't want to get into that because my heart is still broken. But yeah, rip the Braves. But the Braves themselves have made some good moves. Matt Olson, they got Kenley Jansen, re-signed Eddie Rosario. They boosted. I think the Braves have the best bullpen on paper. Anybody can argue with me on that, but they have the best bullpen on paper. Now we'll see how that transcribes into production. But you already got Will Smith, Tyler Matzik, Luke Jackson. You add Kenley Jansen from the Dodgers to be your true closer, and plus all the other guys that they got. Best bullpen in baseball.
Yeah, Kenley Jansen is a truly feared closer in the MLB level.
Yeah, and he had an offseason in 2020, but last year he really bounced back and really showed hey, he's 34 years old. So he's not what he was when he was, in his 20s. But you're asking him to go out there pitch an inning a night. And so, I think that Kenley Jansen is still good enough where he can go out there and give you some good innings. So, MLB offseason or MLB season opening day will happen next Thursday. I know the first game I believe is between the Yankees and someone. I think the Yankees are in the first game. It might be the Red Sox. Could be wrong.
Do they not do the thing the NFL does and a lot of other sports teams where the champion gets the opening game?
No.
That's
no, because they got like 15 teams playing. They got like 15 teams playing on Thursday.
Okay, so they don't just do
because the Braves play the Reds on ESPN2 at 8:00 next week.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you're right. It's Red Sox and Yankees.
It is Red Sox Yankees. That's what I thought. I figured they were going to do some historic match. I remember reading about some historic matchup. So yeah, that's pretty historic if you ask me. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be fun next week. We'll get into that a little more next week. But now we are going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking some NFL, maybe some Titans talk. Because the Titans are supposed to be building a new stadium, and we got to figure out who's going to pay for it and all that. You're listening to Rock Solid Sports here on 90.3 The Rock Volunteer Radio.
The Rock thanks the Hill Bar and Grill for their support. The Hill on Forest Avenue is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill has a variety of appetizers and a full menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. The Hill is our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor and home of Friday's Rock Solid Sports. On Instagram at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2022 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports will cover Smokies baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com, and a link is at WUTKRadio.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from listeners and from the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team, whose 2021-2022 home ice season includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, and others at the Civic Coliseum in downtown Knoxville. The Ice Bears regular season runs through April 9th, and season and single game tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Tune in to WUTK Rock Solid Sports for the Wednesday Ice Bears news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears.
Volunteer Radio stays on air thanks to Cool Beans, the 21-up college sports bar next to campus on Lake Avenue, a block off the strip. Cool Beans has 25 rotating beer taps and bottles. HD TVs everywhere, along with darts, pool, and arcade games. Open every day at 11 a.m. till late night. Burgers, wings, and sandwiches, vol card accepted. Cool Beans hosts Rock Solid Sports every Monday night at 7. Trivia Tuesdays, Bingo Thursdays. More on Instagram at Knox Cool Beans or CoolBeansBar.com.
What's up, guys? This is Billy from Papadocio, and you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, Knoxville's home for jam rock.
Support to keep WUTK on air comes from listeners and from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Texas A&M, Auburn, and others. AllVols.com for Lady Vols softball tickets and more. UT students need a valid UT ID for admission to all home games. WTK's Rock Solid Sports provides UT softball coverage. Volunteer Radio wishes the 2022 Lady Vols softball team good luck as they compete to return to the College Softball World Series. Volunteer Radio remains on air thanks to support from Fieldhouse Social, a modern sports bar and restaurant next to the UT campus at University Commons. Open every day at 11 a.m., serving American craft fare, beer, and cocktails inside or on the covered patio. With over 25 HD TVs at every angle and all UT games shown on the 20-foot LED TV wall. At FH Social Knox on Instagram, fieldhousesocial.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to listener donations and support from the UT Athletic Department. After making it to Omaha last season, the 2022 baseball ball season begins in February and runs into May, featuring games with SEC rivals South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Season group and individual game ticket info is at allvols.com. Students need to show their valid UT ID at the gate for entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
Hey, this is Rob.
This is Derek.
From the Funhouse. For over a decade, we've been getting your weekend started right.
So grab a beverage or whatever it is you need to grab and tune in every Friday night at 8 o'clock.
On 90.3 The Rock, Volunteer Radio.
It's the best show in the universe.
The Funhouse, brought to you by Raven Records and Rarities at 1200 North Central Street in Happy Hollow, Knoxville. Source for new and pre-loved vinyl and more for nearly 40 years.
Welcome in, everyone, to Rock Solid Sports. I'm your host, Joseph Bonato. I got the Jacks next to me, Jack Foster, Jackson Williams. Over on StreamYard, we got Tucker Harlan. And at the gracious sponsor on Friday nights, we got Connor Smith at the Hill Bar and Grill. Connor, how's it going over at the Hill?
Well, I must say the mood has improved with Tennessee going up 2-0. A lot of room here still, though, for people to come down and check it out in winter.
Absolutely. Go ahead and check out the Hill Bar and Grill. Go say hi to our man Connor. And I'm going to kick it over to the Jacks. Can you guys give us an update on what's happened in this baseball game?
Yeah, so just further clarifying the Jordan Beck fiasco, you want to call it. Apparently, he had a sticker on his back from the Western Carolina game from last Wednesday rather than this Vandy game, which is why he was called out from hitting the homer. His bat was not properly inspected, I guess. But it doesn't matter because Luke hit a two-run bomb in the top of the second, and the Vols lead 2-0. Chase Burns has gotten out of both innings around a 2-out double, retiring the side there. So Vols still hold a commanding lead. They got 1 on with 2 down in the top of the third. And who's up to bat here for the Vols? That Drew Gilbert's up. Jordan Beck was walked, and Drew Gilbert's up to the plate. So the Vols lead 2-0.
Okay, so with back to the sticker thing real quick. How was that his fault?
Also, does the bat get checked if he strikes out there?
No, it does not.
Because I believe who initiates that?
I think it's either the home plate umpire if he picks it up and he can check, or if the opposing coach asks for it to be checked.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think the umpire picked it up and saw it and then noticed it. I don't know if Tim Corbin. I obviously wasn't watching and the camera wasn't on Tim Corbin, so we don't know if Tim Corbin asked. If Tim Corbin did ask, then there's something to question: is why does Tim Corbin suspect the bat being illegal if all bats are supposed to be checked before? And you're at Vanderbilt, and the NCAA is supposed to, be there to check the bat. I don't know. It's just a weird situation. I don't think it's short. I don't think Tennessee is doing anything wrong. I think that's literally just NCAA screwed up. And Jordan Beck kind of got punished for something he didn't really have any control over.
Let's be honest. There's a very, very, very small chance that anything was wrong with Jordan Beck's bat. They just got unlucky.
They just got unlucky, and it happened to not get inspected. Someone in the NCAA screwed up, or I'm gonna go conspiracy theorist real quick. Vanderbilt planted someone in the NCAA to check their bats,
or the NCAA is playing a classic April Fool's joke on Tennessee.
Yeah, then give us the run back.
They'll
give them the run back.
They'll give it to him at the end.
Yeah. So,
right?
Yeah. Hey, it's a tie game going in the 9th inning. But wait, Tennessee actually did get a home run top of the inning. So
sorry about it.
Sorry, Tennessee wins.
Oh, and how about Tony Vitello doing his best Will Smith impression to the umps?
Oh, he wanted to.
Oh,
he wanted to.
It's definitely gonna be an interesting series this weekend.
I can't imagine what these next 2 games are going to be like. But we're watching that. Everybody else, in the country is watching this awesome matchup. We're going to go talk some NFL because now that the offseason has kind of cooled down, there was one big thing that happened this week. Bruce Arians decided to retire and then go take a front office job and then promote Todd Bowles. Is it Bowles?
Yes.
Bowles. Okay, I'll just make sure I'm saying that right. Todd Bowles to head coach. So there is yet again another minority head coach in the NFL, which has been a huge topic in the NFL this offseason. Good for Bowles though, because we talked about it earlier among ourselves that he may not have had the best stint in New York with the Jets, but I think in these past few years in Tampa, he's really proved himself. I think he's earned the spot.
I mean, who has a good stint with the Jets?
Fair enough.
That's the last good head coach for the Jets. Rex Ryan
when in 2010 when they had one good year.
Yeah.
2 good years. They went to the AFC Championship back-to-back years.
Wow. And yeah. So, hey, there you go. So the Jets, not the best place to go coach at. So
what is it with New York teams? We've really kind of gone rough on New York teams. You want to talk
about the Giants now? The Yankees?
Dude, the Giants they will probably be the worst football team this year.
No.
Them or Houston.
No, Houston I feel like it's gonna be good. Or not good. Not good. They're I think they're gonna take a step from last year.
They're in full on rebuild mode and they're not close to I don't think.
And Lovie Smith couldn't win games at Illinois. How's he going to win games?
I don't
in the
like
NFL?
that hire. I think it's just another 1 year thing to get him through and keep rebuilding.
A close one step closer to Josh McCown as their head coach.
Yeah, every offseason, Houston is always late to the party with getting head coaches. Then they just settle for a guy. And it's like, oh, well, I guess this year's lost too.
Yeah, but, while we're talking about this NFL, this wacky NFL season, You guys got some winners and losers
of the NFL offseason?
Yeah, give me a winner or a loser.
Loser, Chiefs.
Explain.
They lose Tyreek Hill. They lose their best connection, one of the best connections in the NFL, and you get back some draft capital, but Miami's going to be a pretty good team, and that's not going to be a high draft pick. And, I mean, I felt like a lot of times Tyreek Hill acted as a Patrick Mahomes get-out-of-jail-free card because Patrick would be scrambling around. Tyreek would jet off somewhere because he's faster than everybody else, and Mahomes could find it to him. He'd get open space and get a lot of yards.
Hey, but they got Juju.
Juju Smith can't do that.
They got MBS.
Hey, also, Juju said he's no longer going to be making TikToks while he's on the Chiefs.
How sad.
So wait, hold on. So now that Chiefs have Juju and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, if they land DK Metcalf somehow,
they're not landing DK. DK, listen, the Jets. Look, why we're talking about the Jets? The Jets have kind of said, hey, we're going to be looking at DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, and AJ Brown.
They should have looked at them in the 2019 draft when they were all available.
They are not getting any of those.
You could have gotten all three of them. You literally
none of them went the first round.
Yeah, none of them. The Jets had like good picks. Like you had your opportunity to keep your eye on them, and you didn't. You let them go to the Titans, the Seahawks, and the 49ers, respectively.
Oh, that's awesome.
But and now that they're all up for their second contracts, we're going to keep an eye on them now that.
Now that they're the best wide receiver class in a long time, we're gonna see if we can snag one or two of them.
And
the Jets are poverty.
I mean, AJ Brown is going to be the number one priority for the Titans. Jeffrey Simmons will be number two because he has that extra year, the fifth-year option. So he's not leaving Tennessee. If the Niners let Deebo go, that would be one of the dumbest decisions the 49ers have made since they.
Agreed.
I mean. Since they drafted...
Since they traded for Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, that wasn't a dumb decision. That catapulted that rebuild. I would say since they drafted Gianmarco Carmazio in front of Tom Brady in the 2000 draft.
Oh, that's fair enough.
He was from Hofstra.
Fair enough. That's wild.
Anyway, getting back to winners and losers, though, I think what you want out of an offseason is the most potential to make noise, and I think the Dolphins have all the potential in the world to on the offensive side of the ball. They tag Gesicki. Get good guys on the receiving core. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, but you also got Cedric Wilson. Got a pair of running backs with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert. And do not forget Teron Armstead, a franchise guy at left tackle now to protect Tua. Question is, can Tua make it work?
Yeah, you're right. The question mark is Tua.
Yeah, and it is a question for a different day. But as far as just most potential, if Tua is an actual good quarterback.
He honestly has to be average, and he'll be all right.
Then I think the Dolphins should be good.
They're in a very similar situation that the Titans were in 2019. That you have the pieces around your quarterback. You have a solid running back duo that, I mean, obviously we hadn't seen the real ascension of Derrick Henry yet, but, you had a solid running back room. You had two really good receivers, A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. You had the offensive line there, and it was up to the QB to make plays. Ultimately, it didn't work out for Mariota, but we'll see what happens for Tua.
Tucker, you got some winners and losers?
Well, Jack, I'm right there with you on the Dolphins. I think that was a very good addition that they made, but also we're going to have to figure out if Tua can be that guy. I think my winner, though, is going to have to be the Raiders. Reuniting Derek Carr and Devontae Adams together is going to be something interesting to watch as they were both college teammates.
Let me go.
Yeah, the Fresno State connection.
That is going to be absolutely electric to watch. I'm so excited to see Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. I mean, the Vegas Raiders my early pick to win the AFC West. I think Kansas City takes a step back. I don't think Denver's going to be as good as they are. And I think,
I just don't see Vegas winning.
They have a solid defense. I mean, they have a really good offense. I mean, it's
all right.
Definitely possible. I like them.
All right. Can I go real quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to go a loser, and I know this is going to be weird considering. I'm going to go Green Bay. I think Green Bay is a loser. One, you thought they were going to have a great offseason when they finally got the Aaron Rodgers situation fixed. And then they all of a sudden, they lose Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and they lose probably the best wide receiver in the NFL right now in Devontae Adams. And I know it came out as it was expected that they were going to lose Devontae Adams. But it's still not something you want to see from a team that's dominated the NFC. You don't have any pieces. The only pieces you have around Aaron Rodgers now are the running back room and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who are a fabulous duo, by the way. And wide receiver-wise,
Randall Cobb.
Wow.
Alcoa High School product.
40-year-old Randall Cobb. Congratulations. Aaron Rodgers, you guys go out there and lose you in lose in the first round playoffs again.
I mean, I feel like they'll make a nice draft pick. They'll be fine. I mean, Aaron Rodgers makes a lot of bad receivers look better than they are. I mean,
Jordy
I
Nelson.
don't think Robert Tunyon's going to do anything. Where did Robert Tunyon end up going?
They signed him back for a one-year deal.
Where's the love for Amari Rodgers?
Amari Rodgers wasn't even in their top 3-4 wide receivers last year. He was a punt returner. I think the Green Bay Packers lost this season. They haven't made a splash in free agency on wide receiver, and they really needed to. You know why? It's because they got all their money tied up in Sir Aaron Rodgers.
I also think that they take a loss to win in future seasons because, I mean, Devontae Adams is about to cross the wrong side of 30.
Yeah. But Devontae Adams is still one hell of a receiver.
He's good. Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's the best wide receiver in football right now.
Yeah.
I think if they would have gotten a little bit more in the trade, I think it would have been a little bit better for them.
Yeah, but going to a little more of a local team here, I'm going to talk about Tennessee Titans real quick because there's some news coming out today that it was kind of weird because it wasn't really confirmed. It was just kind of put out there, and now it's kind of got fans considering it. But Tennessee, it's already been approved that they're going to be building a new stadium. Now, the budget for that is something that is still in question. And I know it came out today, Jackson. What was the budget that came out today?
Something around $1.9 billion. Nothing is really set in stone just yet, but there were rumors of $1.9 billion with obviously earlier this week we heard about $500 million coming from the state. So that leaves $1.4 billion to come from somewhere else. Obviously the Titans are going to put up at least a hefty portion of that money, but somebody's going to pay for the rest of that money.
Yeah, Titans already came out today and said that they are going to have several private investors join in on that. The city has not yet committed any amount of money whatsoever, even though it was reported that they were going to cover the rest of the cost because someone said somewhere that $700 million was coming from the Adams family, which is the owners of the Titans, but that also was not confirmed. It was just kind of thrown out there. But if you take that $1.9 billion number, which if we're using that, you're kind of going to get something new, as in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. They had the same budget, around $1.92 billion. Obviously, you don't have as much space to work with in Nashville, considering where they're planning on building it and kind of the timetable. But right now, the plans are a retractable roof and to open before the 2026 season. Now, my question is, are they keeping turf, or are they going to transition to turf, or are they going to keep the real grass, which I think they should?
Retractable roof opens the door to keep the grass. Vegas uses natural grass, I think, and that's how much their stadium costs, about $1.9 billion. I think if I'm the Titans, I'm looking at what Vegas did, and I'm trying to almost carbon copy that, but put a Tennessee twist on it.
Dude, I love Allegiant Stadium. I think it looks cool. It looks like the Death Star.
It's one of the coolest stadiums I've ever. I think it's cooler than SoFi. I think it's cooler than
SoFi's pretty cool.
So it's cooler than SoFi. It's got that.
I guess look wise, yeah.
Here's the thing with SoFi. It doesn't. I mean, obviously it fits, but it's for two different teams. If I look at Allegiant Stadium, like that is the Raiders Stadium. That's their home. That's where they play.
SoFi was also $5.5 billion to build, so that is wild. But it'll be interesting.
With the ship.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do for the Titans, who have had a very mediocre stadium for a long time. But this has been Rock Solid Sports. Quick update on baseball. Vandy did score a run in the bottom of the third, so it is now 2-1 Tennessee. It is 1 out in the top of the fourth. And I believe that is Evan Russell. For your host, Joseph, I got the Jacks next to me. We got Tucker on StreamYard and Connor over at the Hill Bar and Grill. This has been Rock Solid Sports. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you on Monday. Have a great weekend. You're listening to Volunteer Radio 90.3 The Rock.